Hi, and welcome to another episode of Cafe 21. My name is Kyle. I'm a student here at STGC, and in the hot seat today, we have the CEO and co-founder of the football app and the football coin, Stephen Zutphen. Welcome, Steve. It's a pleasure to have you join us today.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Great to be here.
Yeah, lovely to have you. So I guess kind of my first question would be, what was your backstory and how you were able to transform from law to tech? Because as a law student myself, I find that quite interesting, that switch.
Yeah. So, when I was doing law, I was handling a lot of intellectual property, copyright, and trade secret. And when you get into the litigation processes there, you really have to know how the code works to interact with that and make the case. So I had to really learn how to code in those cases, and learn at least technology also very well at a high level and actually at a hands-on level. And so that was my first intro as a lawyer. But as I moved out, I started a software company when I was 26. And that was I was in an executive position, like the co-founder and CEO. But I was super interested in the coding, and I learned a lot in that year as well. And then I sold my shares from that company when I was 27. And when I was 28, I jumped full force into coding myself because I found it very empowering. The idea that you could just code and create, without any barriers. So I just I just fell in love with coding and transitioned myself into that direction.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, are you a big football fan, and what made you decide to come up with the football app?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a pretty big football fan, but not as intense as I grew up in Canada and US. So, we have the seasonal sports, we go crazy for basketball for 4 months, and we're crazy for hockey, and then it's baseball, and then it's American football. So we go crazy in little segments. And I moved to Europe 20 years ago with my wife into the Greek islands. And I mean, I've never developed the intensity, partly because I've been so busy, but I have a huge appreciation. I love the sport, but I'm the kind of fan that watches the big matches always, and I enjoy the highest level of the football, and I don't have quite so much emotional attachment to specific clubs. But I do have a real great understanding of the community, the game, and the dynamic. And my partner, though, who is with me, a co-founder, is a Tottenham, fan, crazy football fan. So between the two of us, we kind of got the right mix, So I do love the sport, but I don't have the same kind of intense, that the average South American or European or African or Arab has, that just or person in the UK, that intense one. They have the joke about football is not a matter of life and death. It's much more important than that,
Yeah.
I'm not there, but
yeah, right, of course. And obviously, for people who may not be familiar with the football app, and it is going to feature at the STG conference in September. What can you say? How would you describe the app in just a few words, just for someone who's not familiar with it, maybe?
It's primarily a gamified social network. So it's got really fun chat rooms. You play games, you interact with other people. Which club you're following, you interact with those fans, but you also interact with the people in your country. And it's a social network, and a next generation social network. I think it's more advanced than the social networks that are out. And it has that theme of football around it. So it's a football themed social network with games, meaning, actual, I don't mean football matches. I mean, gamified. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And what I found interesting was your switch into kind of cryptocurrency and how you've been able to embed that in the football app with the football coin. So kind of how, what made you interested in switching into cryptocurrency, and what do you think the future holds for it?
Yeah, so we had multiple motivations for this. One of them was that we always wanted to share the revenue with the users, because I think people become tired of Facebook and Instagram and the creating these emperors of unlimited wealth who then invade your privacy to gain um, more wealth. That's the old model. We wanted to have a revenue sharing model. And in order to make that practical, you need a mechanism to do it. Like you couldn't imagine trying to send a wire transfer to 100 million people of a tiny little bit of money for their participation. It's impractical. But with crypto, you could do it. So we implemented the token in the app so users could earn that token. And then we made that the only way you could buy ads is with that token. So that means that the users are going to get a piece of that, and that works through the exchange system and through the in-app buying system. We're generally big fans of empowering community. And I think that all of us know that one of the most powerful ways you can help people is with money. So by allowing digital wealth to flow into the software community, that is really good for people. That's really good for small businesses. That's really good for football clubs, big and small. So it seems like a natural fit. And we're really happy that we did a good, really strong implementation in the football app.
Yeah, because right now I can see there's a lot of news surrounding cryptocurrency and the kind of power and momentum that it's gaining at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops in the next few years.
For example, the Dogecoin today went up to $50 billion. That's the same market cap as Barclays Bank, which is a 330-year-old institution. Yeah. And so it shows you the power of community to create their own monetizations and create value behind a token is extreme. And as you know, the football community is the largest community in the world. And that's why that football coin called TFC, which is the one in the app, is got a lot of potential.
Yeah, most definitely. And I guess just to finish off, well, one piece of advice would you give to any aspiring law students out there like myself who might be thinking of a career switch and maybe are not too sure? Do you think studying law was a good base for where you're at today?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am without having a background in law. And I think the key is the education is great because you learn structural thinking, you learn how systems work, you push yourself to think actually and learn. But I think the key is then to follow your heart. Just because you studied law doesn't mean you have to stay in the world of law. More than half the kids that went to my law school, and the average age was 27 because in US it's a doctor's degree level. You go to college, university first, and then you go to law school for 3 years. So the ages are a bit older, but less than half the people went into law in the first year. And I bet you within 5 years, only 10 or 20% were working in law. But I know that legal background is invaluable for people. So it's a great, I think you did a great choice there. So just follow your heart, get that good background, and then do whatever you want after that.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today, Steve. It's been really insightful speaking to you, and hopefully we'll see you soon at the STG conference in September.
Thanks, Kyle. Look forward to it.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.